A debt purchaser will likely never come into the picture except in the case of very long-term debt. Debt that a bank's in-house collection agents weren't able to collect on, that multiple collection agencies every 6 months were unable to collect on, possibly even after a situation where a bank sued a borrower and won a judgment in court and is still unable to collect on that judgment. At some point, they may decide to sell your debt. It's an asset to them, remember, to sell your debt to a debt purchaser for literally pennies on the dollar, sometimes 2%, 3%, 5 cents on the dollar. And that debt purchaser now owns your debt. They are not an agency working for the bank at all. They are now your creditor. You should know right off the bat, a debt purchaser's interest is now not to put you back on a payment plan. They are not a lender. They cannot charge interest. There is no incentive for them to collect from you over months at a time or years at a time at a small amount. They don't want the headache of that account. Their incentive is to buy your debt for 2 or 3 cents on the dollar and quickly have you settle for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 cents on the dollar. If they can double their money in 1 or 2 phone calls and multiply that by thousands or millions of accounts, they are doing a very good business. None of my accounts went to a debt purchaser. I've never heard from a reader that any of their accounts went to a debt purchaser, in large part because I am encouraging people to settle mainly at that sweet spot of 35%. I have had readers and clients who settle at 25%, 20, sometimes 15, but I don't come out encouraging that because I think it's less likely and takes longer and increases the chances of getting sued. But if you were to get that far and actually have a debt purchaser purchase your debt and become your creditor and call you up with a too good to be true offer of 10 or 5% on your debt when your bank would never go lower than 15 and you just can't wait to send in the check and be done with it, which I really hope happens, before sending payment, there is some additional confirmation for you to do and precautions for you to take. The problem is, unlike a contracted collection agency for whom you can call your bank and confirm that they work for them, there is no contract between your original lender and this debt purchaser. In fact, there may not even be a direct relationship between your original lender and this debt purchaser, because debt is sometimes sold over and over and over as bulk. So it may be 2, 3, 5 debt purchasers down the line before this one who finally found you is offering you a too good to be true, but hopefully true settlement on your debt. So with that lack of clarity, with that inability to really confirm with your bank whether or not this entity trying to collect on your debt is legitimate, there is a nice gray area for con artists to learn about your debt from a list of massive bulk debt available for sale and call you, posing as a debt purchaser, saying that he or she is your new creditor, that he or she did buy your debt and offer you an amazing offer, 10, 8, 5%, to be free of your debt forever, which you are so happy about that you can't wait to send that check, except that this person is not your actual creditor and did not buy your debt from your bank. They're just going to tell you this great story to get that money and disappear. You may even follow every instruction I have for you in this course, including getting a settlement agreement in writing, which we're going to talk about in detail in a little bit. And it's going to come through right away, and it's going to have all the pertinent information in it. And it's going to look so proper and legal and right that you send off that check to this debt purchaser, except the debt purchaser does not own your debt, and they're not only going to disappear with your money, but you're still going to owe the debt to whoever is your actual creditor of record at the time. One way to attempt to protect yourself is to ask this debt collector, your debt purchaser, for validation. That's what it's called, debt validation. You can always ask any debt collector for validation of your debt, whether it's your bank's in-house debt collector or any contracted collection agency or even an attorney that a bank hires. If it comes to a lawsuit, you ask for validation and they have to provide you with documentation that proves that they have the right to collect on this debt. And if you make that request to some lesser prepared con man, that may be enough to have them just disappear right then and you don't hear from them again. But some people have this con really played out well, and they will even send you forged, falsified validation. So you can't stop there. The next step is to ask the debt purchaser for their name and business name and address and phone number, which according to the laws that protect you as a credit consumer, they are legally required to give to you. Again, that wall may be enough for some con men to run away. Others may provide you with falsified information. So whatever information you get, call the Better Business Bureau and check in on this debt purchaser, see if it is real. Call the phone number of the company and see if it is a real company or just an answering machine. Get someone on the phone and ask for the actual debt purchaser who said they are contacting you. They are going to try and send you as much information as they can to convince you to send payment before you get so far that you think they may be fraudulent. Your goal is to take it as far as you can, right up to the point where you are as certain as you can be that it is a legal debt purchaser. You might even want to invest in an attorney for an hour or a private investigator to look into this company and pull a report on them. Better to spend $300 or $400 or $500 to be as certain as you can that this debt purchaser really owns your debt and you really will be discharging your debt by sending them a settlement amount, than to save that money up front, send off a couple $1,000s, and have it be a con man. In the end, nobody can fully protect themselves from a really smart con man who has covered all his bases. But taking these steps, getting debt validation, getting their name and phone number, calling them, calling the Better Business Bureau, hiring somebody to look into them, can weed out a good number of con artists before you send them payment. And most importantly is to make sure that you don't get so swayed by that amazing offer that you are more interested in getting out of the emotion of debt than in getting out of debt. Don't let the excitement sway you into doing less due diligence than the CEO of a corporation would do for your financial best interests.